We are not just a group of individuals. We are a powerful force. Together, we are unstoppable. Each of us brings unique strengths, and when we combine them, there's nothing we can't achieve. Challenges will come, but we face them head-on, with courage and determination. There are no quitters here, only winners. We push each other to be better, to strive for greatness, and to never settle for anything less. Remember, our success depends on each and every one of us. Stay focused, stay united, and let's make our mark. We rise together, we conquer together. Now let's go out there and show the world what we're made of. We are unstoppable.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Hey there, everyone. We are the founders of the Business Excellence and Impact Group, and we help consultants and coaches connect with their ideal clients to start, grow, and scale the business. And guess what? We're back. We will be here bi-weekly every other Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. So mark your calendars. Welcome to our Facebook Live. We are excited to be here. For those that don't know, I'm Dr. Nicole Rankin, better known as Dr. Nick.
Hello, everyone. I am Angela Hooper Minifield, and I am so excited to be here today and have this conversation.
And you know me, I am Cedric LaFleur, King of Schools. Let's get down to business, and because today's topic is something every entrepreneur needs to hear.
I agree, Cedric. You know, we are tackling some big things in 2025. You know, thinking about coming into the new year, the biggest question is, how do we build resilience and keep thriving in 2025?
So, I just have to say, everybody needs to just listen and kind of chill a little bit because there's so much happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the first week of February, and people are concerned about economic shift, changes in policy, politically, the global uncertainties. And basically what we're finding is business owners are realizing they just can't go with the flow. If you're a business owner, you need a game plan.
Exactly. And see, you have to stay ready. You can't get ready. You got to stay ready. So you don't have to be worried about getting ready. All right. So now we're here to help you to do just that on a daily basis. We're here to help you take your business to another level by breaking it down into three key areas, right? Understanding the current business landscape, building resilience, and thriving in times of uncertainty. And man, are there a lot of uncertain times right now. So let's jump right in and get going.
No, I agree, Cedric. It's crazy, right? It may seem like all hell is breaking loose, but we're in 2025 and businesses are really facing a very difficult landscape compared to just a few years ago, right? The cost of doing business is up, regulations are shifting, consumer behavior is changing faster than ever. There's so much going on.
Definitely. And what I have found is just in the last couple of weeks, when I talk to business owners and other people who are in this space, many of them are feeling stuck and they're asking questions, things like, should I scale back? Should I push through? But here's the truth. Hesitation can cost you just as much as making a bad decision.
Yep. And you know what? The businesses that survive and thrive are the ones that adapt and stay proactive. See, you can't afford to wait around to see what's going to happen. See, you need to anticipate, you need to pivot, and you need to execute. Let me say that again because I want the people in the back of the room to hear this. You need to anticipate, you need to pivot, and you need to execute. See, the ones that's over there on Twitter right now, they don't hear us right now, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to make sure that they get it, right? But the good news is there are strategies to make this work. And that's exactly what we're doing And that's what we're going to be sharing with you tonight.
And I think you brought up a good point, Cedric. It's about adapting and staying proactive. You know, if you get so concerned about focusing on what's going on, you lose focus on how to build that resilience. And I think that is the key. One of the most important things that you can do to help build that the resilience is to diversify your revenue streams, right? Gone are the days of relying on just one product, one service, and one client base. How can you diversify your revenue streams? That's where we need to be thinking.
I so agree. And you know, it's so interesting because I was talking to even, you know, some of my nonprofit leaders, because this isn't just about small businesses, like everybody is having these conversations. Mm-hmm. And part of our conversation was too, some of this is just a distraction so that we keep our eyes off the ball, right? So that resiliency that you just talked about is so, so key. And adapting and being proactive, it's all about strategy. And so the thing that I thought about, Nicole, when you talked about that, about diversifying your revenue streams, it brought me back to 2020. And if you all will remember, 3 of us solopreneurs out here doing our own thing, 2020 is actually what, you know, brought us together. Now, we didn't know COVID was coming when it came, but it was one of the things that we did diversify with when we got into the partnership game. So if 2020 really taught us anything, it was that flexibility equals survival. You see, when I talk to clients and other business owners, I say to them, if one part of your business took a hit tomorrow, do you have another stream of income to keep you afloat? And if not, it's time to create one. And I can even take that just a little step further because, like both of you as well, I was already dabbling even when I had a full-time job, because in my mind, I was thinking if this were to go away, I at least got something coming in while I figure out my next best step. And whether it's people taking buyouts or doing other things, like if you are already dabbling in your hustle and got something flowing, some of those people feel more certain about their next best step because they were being flexible and they're able to survive.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, talking about this being diverse and diversifying rather, and then talking about being flexible, let's talk about your network. And see that word right there, network, is going to be key and critical tonight, tomorrow, next week, in about a month from now. Network. Just remember, write that word down, Kendrick. Network. Write that word down, Jack. Jack. Network is going to be important. See, because let me tell you, see, your network is your lifeline in times of uncertainty. See, you need strong business relationships, right? I'm going to say that again. You need strong business relationships, not just customers, but partners. And I'm going to add another word to that, strategic partners, okay? I taught in the class a few weeks ago, you can either be transactional or you can have strategic partners. You can either be playing checkers or you can be playing chess. See, but partnerships, collaboration, and allies in your industry are going to be the people who can open doors for you. And see, maybe you can't open every door. Guess what? Somebody else can open it for you. And guess what? When they open that door for you, then all of a sudden now you're not just going in the room, you're staying in the room. See, there's a difference. See, a lot of people get in the room, but they can't stay in the room, right? They don't know how to do that. So your network is going to be extremely important as we go forward. So, yeah, that's what I have to say.
I like that. And I think we embodied that, right? Building relationships as part of our community, even with our business excellence and impact group. That's one of our core values, building those connections and building that relationships. So even with the relationships, I think it's also important for business owners to evaluate what is it that you've been doing, right? You can't forget the operational efficiencies that you have been doing, because the things that you may have been doing last year may not going to work this year, but you have to be able to reevaluate. So if your business is leaking money due to systems that are not working, or you have poor cash flow management or insufficiencies in your business, this is the time. I always say there is opportunity in chaos. So it may seem like there's chaos going on right now, but there is opportunity if you're looking for it. So right now, this is the time to clean up those operations that are not serving you. And this is going to help you build that resilience. If you need to build that strategic partnerships, things that you have wanting to do, things that you need to stop doing in order to be able to move forward. This is the time to reevaluate your operational efficiency and clean it up now and not later.
You know what you just made me think about, Nicole, was I bet, and first I just want to shout out the chat because they working it tonight, Cedric, and you do an excellent job of managing it. But I'll even just ask those who are actively engaged right now in the chat, how many unfinished products you got in your queue? If we was to check your hard drive of your computer or your memory or your history, how many unfinished things that, you jumped on one of our calls or you were in a lesson and you started it, but you didn't bring it to fruition? Because that's what Dr. Nick is talking about too, right? Those were great ideas and some of them still are. You're already 50% there. You've already done the research and the majority of the work. Probably all you need to do is just update it a little bit, right? Because technology moves and it moves at a fast pace. And so in harmony with what Dr. Nick is talking about, operational efficiencies, we cannot, Karen said quite a few, right? We cannot overlook technology. AI, automation, digital tools can help small businesses definitely do more with less. But here's the kicker. If you aren't leveraging technology, you're already behind. Mm-hmm. You are the blockbuster of your business industry, because Netflix then took off with streaming, and you still waiting for people to show up and get a physical box or DVD or a video. So you're the blockbuster.
What's that?
Yeah, my little JC don't even know what a DVD is.
Right? And y'all don't know what the tape, the VHS tape thing is, right? But that's who you are. Because here's the thing, it's not about replacing jobs, it's about working smarter, not harder. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I can even say, because I'm sure you all hear it too, I hear so many people afraid of technology. And they're afraid of AI and they're afraid of all these things. I'm like, look, there will be some people who will never embrace it. So it behooves us to understand it and get good at it, because it makes us now irreplaceable, not replaceable. See, people think, oh, technology makes me replaceable. Contraire. What's it? Contraire, mon frere?
Yes.
If you're the person on the team who really understands technology and automation, you actually have increased the security that you can have with your clients, with the people who use your services, because you're willing to do and use the things that they're not. And guess what many of them will do? They will pay you to do it. So please do not forget about technology.
Yes, absolutely. Technology is the thing that's taking people and places to the next level. In fact, I was meeting just today with the person that I'm hiring to be my chief technology officer, and buying him and going to that right now. But yes, technology is definitely the key. And, Andrew, you're talking about leveraging things and not working harder, but working smarter, and also changing the paradigm. And, if I look back 3 years ago, one of the things that people would always say to me is, "Hey, Cedric, you need to write a book." And I was like, I'm not into that. I don't need one, and blah, blah, blah. And I've had people in my former company call me and tell me I needed to write a book. I have people who were in some other healthcare companies said, "You need to write a book, right?" And I was like, nah, maybe one day. Well, so I got in the process, and here's where we are today. So fast forward 3 years. We have 4 books on the market right now. I have 2 books that I'm actively editing. And in fact, I just finished editing one last night, and I'm working on the second one. I started it today in the edit process. We have one that's going to start with somebody that I know here that's going to start tomorrow, right? With the outline for it, right? And I have 2 more that's going to start later this year. So if I add up all the numbers, 4 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 more, that's 8 books. Now I had a deal to say that I was going to do 10 books. That was my thing. I was going to do 10 books. Well, by the end of this year, I'll have actually 9 already. Okay. Now, am I going to stop there? Absolutely not. Right. So it's changing the paradigms, changing your thinking, your mindset. And mindset is one of the biggest things that people need to do a shift in their business. Right. Mm-hmm. Stop being afraid to invest in yourself and in your business. Let me say that one again. Stop being afraid to invest in yourself and in your business. Right. Too many entrepreneurs hesitate when it comes to hiring a coach, getting the right certifications, or expanding their reach. The first thing that they say is, well, what is it going to cost? What is it going to cost? What is it going to cost? Well, what is it going to cost you to stay thinking the way you've been thinking, right? If we're in 2025, let's say, just go back 5 years. What if today you were still thinking this the way you thought in 2020? How far would you be behind, right? So you got to think about that. We have to change this. There's a youth book that's coming out in April that I'm writing. It's called Mindset Matter, Unleash Your Potential. Now, this book is for middle school and high schoolers, but I'll tell you what, I know a whole lot of adults who need that book. Right? So I'm just saying, we have to make sure that we don't be afraid to hire a coach, get the right certifications, and expand our reach.
Can I just interject? But can I look, Nicole? You see how he did that? I might be doing something with one of y'all or something. Mm-hmm. but as he was telling that story, Nicole, I couldn't help but laugh because if you'll recall, I'm going to do some revisionist history for the people who hadn't been knowing us too long. Do you remember, even when we started this thing in 2020? Who was the partner who didn't like to be on camera? Nicole, do you recall who it was? Okay. On my camera, he on the other side of you. Do you remember who that is? And Cedric, look, went to radio shows, this show, Talk Leadership with Cedric. Like when I branded himself and became the face of live Facebook shows. And then
let me give him a little bit more story to that because you're absolutely right. So we would be on Zoom calls. And like, are you gonna turn your camera on? No, not really. Not really. So
I don't want to be on camera. He was like, why we gotta get on Zoom?
Yeah.
And then Nicole, when he told us that people were suggesting that he write books, and I told Cedric, I said, that's your next thing. I said, you're supposed to stretch yourself. And he was like, well, I hadn't thought about it that way. Now he Mr. Author extraordinaire. Right? Like
Mr. Barnes and Noble.
It's gonna be Barnes, Nobles, and LaFleur, right? Like that's gonna be the name of the store.
It'll be LaFleur Leadership Books.
Yeah. Exactly. But we're laughing about it, but that's one of the reasons why I also love working with you both. Because you do expand, even what you say in the moment, you be like, this was my immediate reaction to that being on camera. But then it was like, let me leverage this. Now I got so many jobs. We were like, how many shows you got, man? Oh God. and yeah, it's like, oh my gosh. So it's powerful, right?
Right.
And I was the person, just talking about evolution, as Angela says, that when I even reached out to you all and talked about this, my thing was, I don't know if I want to work with other people because I don't know if I can depend on them, right? So the things that sometimes keep us from taking that next step, which is really going to be the thing that's going to expand us, is often the thing we think we shouldn't do or don't want to do. Mm-hmm. And that's why I always say, when I either hear somebody else say it or I hear myself say it, oh, that must actually be the thing I need to do, because it's the thing that I'm resisting doing. So for everybody, when you heard Cedric talk about investing in yourself, oh, I already know what to do. I took this class online. I watch a YouTube video, but we talk about joining our masterclass, and you know you're still in struggle zone. You already know. Right. That's the thing you're supposed to do. When we talk about we will coach and mentor you and be the board you can't afford, and you say, I don't need them. That's the thing you need to do. So Nicole, I just had to interject. I know it wasn't, it was you have to say something, but because I know how many of them admire Cedric and jump on his calls, but I don't know that they know the journey, right? That we've all been on, from where we thought we wanted to do and what we ended up doing, and the impact that it's had on our businesses.
Yeah. Yes. Now y'all shattering Sitsy's thoughts of me. You telling all my tea like that.
Oh, I see. She said I never do that. Sissy, keep hanging with me. I'll give you the look. I will look. I get my tea cup, but we'll give you the tea.
And I think you all just made real good points of, how entrepreneurs are supposed to expand, are supposed to grow. We say that leaders are long time learners, right? Always supposed to be learning and growing. I think the problem comes in is when the focus is on those shiny objects, right? And the trends and what's popular, because believe it or not, people will spend money, lots of money, on things that don't grow their business. They follow people. They'll invest in things and programs and softwares and this and that, and their business is so stagnant. And they're still singing the woulda, shoulda, couldas, or desires, right? So I think it's just like you were saying, just even looking at Cedric and how he moves and always expanding and always moving. And I think when we shift our focus from what's all those shiny objects out there, all those people who's proclaiming these outrageous claims with no receipts, right? All these tools and things that people are you're investing your money in, but it's not working and it's not growing your business. But when it's time to invest in the right tools, invest in the right training or mentorship or coaching, guess what? Crickets. Yes. Lots of crickets. And so I think as entrepreneurs, now is the prime time that it's time to act. We say it's cliche, massive action. We say it every year, but like literally, this is the time in the midst of all that's going on. We don't have time to wait. Waiting is a luxury you can't afford. So now is the time to really, truly move on that thing. Move on. If that's a book idea that you have, let's go. Let's do it. If that's another revenue idea that you had, let's do it. If it's that strategic partnership that you wanted to build and leverage, let's do it. Now is that time. I think it's time to refocus, reshift, and truly that's how we're going to build our resilience through this time.
Yes, and I agree with that 100%. I wish I could bring my little emoji. I got on my Facebook page that do that look like me, and she go 100 because what because what you said was spot on. But the other thing that we got to remember is resilience is a mindset. It really is. And especially in days like today, right? It's all about how you respond to challenges, not just the challenges themselves. Because, see, most of us, we react. Something happened, reaction. Reaction gets you nowhere. That's when you are operating at the lowest common denominator of your brain power. Responses, strategies, systems. That's what's going to get you ahead. And it's so interesting, like I said, because as I listen, and I've been talking to so many people, many just in turmoil these last few weeks. I told some clients yesterday, I was doing an all-day training. I said, it's so interesting how my brain goes into strategy mode. I said, it's like the more flustered everybody else gets, things get so much clearer for me. And I'm grateful for that. Now, some of that is inherent into my behavioral style. And all three of us, of course, most people know are behavioral consultants. So we do behavioral assessments. So there are certain types of personalities that in the midst of chaos, we get clear, more pronounced, and direction oriented. And so I just say all that to say that's one of the reasons why I think we've been together so long. Because we don't get all worked up about a whole lot. We laugh, we be like, we share information, we want to be knowledgeable, but very little moves us. And that's collectively or individually. We just even Steven. That's what a sound business owner has to do. So again, resiliency is really all in the mindset.
I think, building up a great point about mindset. So we know that with the Business Excellence and Impact Group, we're all about being result oriented. So we're not just going to tell you theory. We're just not going to give you abstract ideas. We want to make sure that you have sound strategies, actionable takeaways that you can put into work. So I know we talked about what's happening now. We talked about how to build resilience and why it's important. Now the question is, how do we put it to work? How do you not just survive, but actually thrive? Give Cedric, give him the tea. How do we do that?
Yeah. Well, first of all,
look, let me get my notebook. I got to take some notes.
If you all didn't have notes, this is the time to go grab your notes and a pen or something to write with. This is now the actionable items. Let's do it.
Well, first of all, I have receipts. So if you need receipts, come on over here. I can show you some receipts. All right. Now, see, it all comes down to innovation, visibility, and execution. So you might not understand those words. So let me break it down a little bit. Innovation, that means you're going to do something that's going to be different than what else is that's out there right now. Visibility, that means you're going to be out front. You're going to be seen. People are going to recognize your brand when they see it. Just like when you drive it down the street and you see the golden arches, you know what that means. When you see that apple with a bite out of it, you know what it means. Your mind goes somewhere. When you see that basketball man, ooh, look at that basketball man, you know that means Jordan. That don't mean LeBron. That means Jordan, right?
Oh, you're so wrong, man. You're so wrong. Even though I am a Jordan is the GOAT guy, but you was wrong for that.
And then execution means you're gonna do it. It's about grinding. It's about taking action. It's about doing, not talking anymore, right? You're not on a conference call anymore. You're doing something. You're out there getting it done in the streets, right? If you're not constantly evolving, changing, up-leveling, then your business is already getting left behind. You see, in evolution, everything is always moving, and your business has to always be moving. You have to be willing to take some risk. You can't sit on the porch and take risk at the same time. It's either you're going to be on the porch and you're just sitting and watching, or you're jumping off that porch and you're taking risk. And see, here's what happens in your business when you decide to take risk. All of a sudden, the customer says, Oh yeah, I like what you're doing, Kendrick. I want to do that. Oh, Sitsi, hey, why don't you come fly over here and do this presentation for us? Because we like what you have to say. See, what it's saying is, B-Jack, we ready for you to come and present to us. I love your proposal. Angela, guess what? Man, we want to hear you come and talk with us. And we have some clients we want you to coach. You see, that's what happens when you get off the porch and you start taking risks and you start doing things that everybody else is not doing. They're sitting at home worried about, oh, I got to think about this 1,000 times. And meanwhile, everybody else is collecting checks and picking up receipts.
That receipt.
It's so funny because look, I was thinking about look at these checks I got sent here. Like we got receipts. But Cedric, I laugh too because when you talk about visibility, there's one thing in visibility I don't think people see sometimes. They don't. So when we talk about visibility, I think they only think about can people see me or am I out here doing stuff? They also don't think about the piece of the visibility that we see when they got, this week they selling travel agency. Next week they selling coaching. Next week they selling healthcare products. The next month, right? That's visibility too. And it's the kind that makes people say, now what you do again? So they don't look at you in the context of this is the go-to expert for this thing or what is setting you apart, because that type of visibility is actually hurting you, or the visibility that, you're late when you join things. Or, because people's like, well, if they late here, they're going to be late if I work with them. Like that's visibility too. And sometimes I think people forget that because there's a lot of people that I see visibly that I would never work with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just keeping it real. And so that visibility matters. Be the type of person that people want to even work with. Dr. Nick talked about partnership. You talked about it. We did this thing, but we continue to do things together. And part of the masterclass, when we talk about scaling, we talk about as your contracts get bigger, who can you invite along on the journey with you? Because what's holding some of us back is we said, well, I can't bid on that because I don't have the bandwidth to coach 100 people. I don't have the bandwidth to do an all-day employee conference for 100 employees, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't need it if you got good people in your circle. And some of y'all are wondering why we haven't called y'all.
Let
Well,
the church say amen.
well,
I didn't even know you were still in business because it may not even be that you did something bad or you weren't quality. I didn't even know you were still in business.
yeah.
And everybody got a reason why, right? And I'm not here to judge because one of my favorite quotes that I used to hear often that I really agree with, the only thing worse than an excuse is a good excuse.
Yes.
Right? So everybody got life. Everybody dealing with stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
But if the world from the outside cannot tell you still in business, I'm just gonna leave you alone because I'm thinking you retired again, right? Like you left your corporate job and now you done left this one.
Yep.
That's just what I'm gonna think. So that's visibility too. And then the other thing that I thought about was, right now we're in this season too, because you also talked about execution. And Nicole, I know you were going to talk about that, but there's a point that I really want to make about that.
Mm-hmm.
Right now in this world where people are talking about, let's make sure we give jobs and contracts and money based on merits. One of the things we talk about in our course is branding, and we talk about Chick-fil-A, and Cedric just talked about Apple. Apple can put out a new product every week if they wanted to, and the line would be out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Because people see their products as quality. Those of us who like Apple stuff, you couldn't give us the other products, right? Like we'd be like, oh no. Because we love what we love and we see it as quality. Or you talked about the Jordan. Like I've never bought Jordan shoes, but I know they're high priced when you get those at the sub brand of the brand, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why people buy them is because they see them as quality. So we can put aside all these fears, be the best in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Be the best in the game. And those are the kinds of things that we're trying to help you be. Be the best. And we don't have to worry about did you get something not based on merit. So that's the part of the story that people are not thinking about. Like, yes, there's visibility. People need to see you, but we also need to see you in your greatness. We want to see your reviews. I don't know about y'all, but do y'all read reviews on Amazon and Google? I do.
Yeah, well, I'm a high D, and yeah, I don't.
You may not read them, but I bet you look at the number.
Yeah, I'll see the number, but yeah, I don't read them.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna do both, right?
I
Because
will
I'm
read all of them.
exact. Oh yeah, I'm gonna read them. But because if you see a business got a 2, you ain't
Right.
messing with them. You're not gonna read why they got a 2. I'm gonna read why because I'm
Yeah.
curious.
See, she wants the tea all the time.
Well, but actually, the C in me also want to know how old it is, right? So
Sure. Yeah.
because if it's 3 years ago, have they fixed it? So those are other things. Because one bad review or 2 don't kill it. But the thing is, Cedric said, I'm walking back out of corporate with a renewed focus. I hear you.
Yeah.
But we got to be quality. Sorry, Dr. Nick, I'm gonna let you have it. But I just had to. I just had to.
You're good, because I think all that you're saying, it's about execution. It's about putting in the work and doing the thing that you're supposed to do. And I think that's the game changer. We see so many entrepreneurs just stuck in learning mode. And I'm gonna read a book, I'm gonna take another course, I'm gonna listen to this podcast, I'm gonna attain this webinar, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, but never actually implement what they have learned. And I think that right there, this is the time of execution. And the truth that says knowledge without action is just potential. It's the execution that turns that potential into profit. Just like you said, if we don't know that you have a business, okay, we're just a expensive hobby, right? What are you doing? So you got to ask yourself, for those that are out there that's listening, what have you been sitting on? What are the things that you have been sitting on that can take your business to the next level? Success doesn't come from, just about what you know. It comes from what you do consistently. And so it's time to execute. It's time to put those things into action. I think the execution aspect of all of this, that's going to be the differentiator. You can think about all the things that's going on. You can focus on this, but like Angela said, those that even kill have the right mindset, and we're still executing. And that's not going to change. The receipts are still going to come because we have to pivot and we're still executing. So just thinking about that, I think that is going to be the differentiator and the game changer. Businesses that will win in 2025, those are the ones that are going to execute fast and do it consistently.
Yes, absolutely. Say that again. I will tell you.
I will.
See, let me give you an example of what Nicole and Angela are talking about. Advertising on social media, right? And I'm not talking about paid ads, right? I'm just talking about just posting on a regular basis. I don't know too many people who post more consistently and regularly as I do.
I don't either.
And but let me tell you why. You see, because I don't have to make cold calls anymore. People find me because they see that what I'm doing, and I'll get a phone call, an email said, "Hey, I see I like this. I want to talk with you about doing this for our team. Hey, how can you help me do this in my business?" Right? That's what happens. Now, let me tell you something. You may say, "Hey, look, I haven't done anything this year," or let's say you haven't done anything in the last 6 months. It doesn't make a difference. What you need to do is what you did 6 months ago. You can post that. They don't remember what you posted 6 months ago, right? So take the stuff that you're doing, and you have to make sure you reuse it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember last Christmas, the commercials you saw? You saw that in Christmas in 2023 too. Those same commercials, some of them, right? The only place that changes commercials all the time is going to be a Super Bowl, right? Because you're going to pay $3 million for a commercial, you're going to make a new one, right? However, all those other commercials, they're going to play throughout the whole year, right? That's what you need to be doing in your business. Get up and post on whichever platform you want to post on, right? But you got to get up and you have to post. Get up and you have to post. It doesn't matter if you post the same picture today, next week, and next month, right? Most people don't remember that because some of them probably haven't even seen that, all right? That's how you keep your brand out there. That's how people know what you're doing, right? So if I see a post from you today, but nothing for the next 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, well, then I don't forgot about you. I'm not sure you're doing anything, sort of what Angela is saying. Post, post, post. Put it in your contract that when you are doing an event, you're going to be taking pictures to post, right? Don't be afraid of that. Make sure when you have an event, you take pictures. If you don't have someone there with you to take pictures, you do it yourself. You get your customer to help you take some pictures, right? Take some video snippets, right? 30 seconds video clip, 40-second, 1 minute video clip. You just have to make sure you collect that. And that's how you're going to build what you're doing. All right. It's an easy game. If you want to learn how to do that, just go to my website.
Yeah, tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So business owners in 2025 have to be bold. They have to take action. They have to try new strategies. And look, don't be afraid to pivot. Right. So those things right there, being bold, right? Taking action, right? That's one thing. But the other ones are try something new and don't be afraid to pivot. See, that right there is the difference maker with a lot of businesses, right? People who are high performers, they know that failure is a part of the process. If I try something, it doesn't work, you know what? That doesn't mean I'm going to stop. I'm going to try it a different way. You're going to see a different ad selling the same thing. You're going to see a different ad promoting that product in a different way. Failure is a part of the process. Not everybody's going to like everything that you do. I don't worry about that. I don't get caught up in the numbers. All I know is this. I get caught up in people calling me saying, I want to do that. How do you do that? Come do this for our team. I see what you're doing over here. I like that. That's what I get caught up in. Right.
So, checks.
No, go ahead.
No, I said, and those checks. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, well, those checks. That's another thing. Yeah, I get caught up in that. I love that. Cha-ching, you've got checks.
You have received money.
Yeah.
The receipt. Look.
Yeah.
Me and Nicole be like, I'm not worthy.
Absolutely. One of my customers had to write a review for a reference for me to another client in an RFP that I was doing just yesterday. And one of the comments that she put in her thing was, we have several leadership development vendors. However, the difference in what Cedric is, he's the only one that is flexible in changing something that he's doing for us. You see, I'm not so in love with my material, my content, that I can't change it to meet their needs.
Exactly.
Right? You know what? I not practiced it, but I reviewed it. I was ready to present it, and the client said, "Hey, can you do this?" Boom. Then that's what I'll do. I'll switch it up on them. Right? Give you a good example. In the middle of a workshop, a client said, "Hey, we would like to get some role plays." So on the spot, I mean, now I'm used to doing role plays in sales. So on the spot, we switched up and we did some role plays, right? Then I created a whole session. In fact, Dr. Nick was involved in it, created a whole session workshop for them where we were doing role plays,
Mhm.
right? It's a you can't be so much in love with your product that you're not willing to switch and pivot for your customer if they're paying you.
That's
Okay.
right.
So,
No,
uh,
you're spot on. You're spot on. And Cedric, you know how in our membership community, I often get on there Mondays and do a Facebook Live. And so I had said to them 2 weeks ago, I said, many of you know Cedric had a course on Saturday morning about, you know, how to get multi-year contracts. I said, and this is exactly, you know, paraphrasing a little bit, but how I said it, I said, and many of you know, because you know my background, even when I worked for the government, I oversaw contracting. So I know contracts very well, like, and I know government contracts like the back of my hand. I said, but do you know two people who was in that Zoom, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed? I said, I was even on a bus going out of town. I said, Angela and Dr. Nick. I said, because we are smart enough to know that we were going to hear something that was still going to make the good stuff that we are doing better. Mm-hmm. And that's when you talk about like the things that owners have to be. We got to be willing to keep learning. Nicole brought it up, lifelong learners. Like we know what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I know I've been doing government contracts as a part of a core job responsibility for over 20 years. And some of the ways that you talked about things, you refreshed my memory, you put a different spin on it. But we were on that call and was the last, you know, some of the last ones to get off. And the reason why I think that's important to say is because a lot of folks that's watching think they know everything already. Mm-hmm. And I wanted the community to know, Dr. Nick and I, who are your peers, you know, we're co-mentors in this system that we have here in the Business Excellence and Impact Group. We learn from each other. Because we all bring something valuable to the table. But if you think, because like a lot of them think they done graduated from us, just so you know, Cedric, you know, they ain't said it out loud, but I'm going to call them out. They done graduated. But yet we haven't graduated from each other. Isn't that interesting?
Exactly.
It's interesting though, isn't it?
And that call ended up being 3 hours. Supposed to be 90
minutes. And the show wasn't supposed to be. But me and Nicole was still on that call when it ended.
Yes.
So the other part of this that I think is, you know, why, again, I love this community so, and what we have together is we practice what we preach. Yeah. Right. We model. We don't tell other people to come listen or come get exposed to something, but say, oh, I'm going to sleep in today. I'm not going to go because I already know everything Cedric's going to say. No, that ain't what we do. And we weren't on there co-teaching either. We were listening. And so, again, I just want to put that out there. So when you come to this community and you decide to work with people, you're working with people who are humble, but who are also deeply aware of how to make a difference in their businesses and others. And so in harmony with what you said about being bold, take action and try new strategies and not being afraid to pivot, you really brought to mind why we actually created the Business Connection Masterclass, because we know entrepreneurs need guidance. Right. We know they need support, and we know also they need a real game plan to succeed in today's world.
I agree, Angela. The Business Masterclass, if you all are out there and you're in a place where you need that mentorship, when you need that coaching, like I said, it's all about execution. We've covered a lot in this session, but the bottom line is this, like resilient businesses, they aren't built by accident, right? They're very intentional and very built by design. And that is going to help you when you're thinking about what is it that you're going to do, how are you going to survive and thrive in this climate in 2025. It's definitely going to be intentional about taking that action. And so the business masterclass. I think that we should make sure that you join us in that next one, right? Link is below, right? So I think, Cedric, you're going to tell us about the business masterclass. Just give them a little understanding of what that is.
Yeah, well, you know what? Maybe I'll hold it back from. It's going to be a secret. No, I'm just kidding.
They're going to be like, we done waited all this time.
see, that's what happens when you don't advertise your business. What you're doing is you're keeping it as a secret, right? You're holding it back. I'm going to hold the good stuff back from my potential clients, right? So here's what you need to do next, right? If you're serious about growing and scaling your business, join us in the next Business Connection Masterclass. This is where we're going to walk you through exactly how to implement everything we talked about today. So you don't have to be alone in this process. And I'm going to put on the screen just a little snippet of what's going to happen. One, we're going to start out, we're going to lay the foundation for you, right? It doesn't matter if you're starting a business or you've been in business for a while, we're going to lay the foundation for everybody. If you go buy a brand new house right now, you say you're going to build a new house, they're not going to start on the second floor. They're going to build the foundation first. They're going to put it on a solid foundation. Then we're going to flip into niche. What is niche, right? And what is your niche, right? If you say you want to service everybody, well, we know you're not servicing anybody. All right. So we're going to help you break down what your niche is. Then we're going to step into creating your brand. Brand awareness is important. Brand recognition is important, right? You need to make sure that your brand is being recognized. If your brand is not being recognized, then that means somebody else's brand is. Okay. So you need to make sure that your brand is out there. The next thing we're going to do is, where the money resides, right? We're going to help you move the commas. We're going to teach you about what moving the commas is all about and how to move the commas in your business. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to help you get comfortable with sales. You see, no matter what you call this game, it's sales. Right. You can say you're a leadership development coach. I'm a human behavior specialist. I'm a leadership development guru, whatever you want to call it. Just make sure you understand it's sales. So we're going to teach you how to sell, what sales is and what it's not. Then once you learn how to sell, now you got to learn how to negotiate. You see, because if you negotiate the right way, you'll get what you want. You'll give your customer what they want on your terms. See, there's a difference. Giving them what they want on your terms. We're going to take you through understanding what are the pitfalls of being an entrepreneur. You know, there are pitfalls. There are things that you got to watch out for. But when you come to the class, boom, guess what? We help you navigate that and understand that you don't have to be susceptible to all the pitfalls. We're going to talk about a little thing that we call FOMO. You know, in the class, we're showing you how to expand your business. And guess what? This is not just about teaching. This class is about doing, right? We talked about execution. So one day we're going to teach. The next day it's going to be all on you. You're going to have to show up and you're going to have to do. So when you're done with the class, when you graduate, you're going to have a business plan. When you graduate, you're going to clearly understand your niche, right? When you graduate, you're going to understand how to sell, how to negotiate, how to listen. You're going to learn all the things you need to do, how to, where to get your different certifications so that you can be a part of a thriving business. Now, I've given you way more than you needed, but that's way more than I was supposed to give you tonight, right? But I want you to know when you come, you're going to get it all. So let me go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Angela. You going to take it over for us?
Well, I will have a few words, but we always like to leave with one of those aspiring Cedric stories. So if you got one that you're getting ready, you can get it ready because I'm almost done. But we're just excited to be back. Number one, we've all been working on a lot of things, but one of the things we missed was coming together with our regular occasions and just talking and helping people, and it's almost the same energy that it started with in 2020, right? Our sincere desire to help those that we see, because we see y'all too. Just like y'all see us, we see you too. And we see you jumping over here and jumping over there. And every month you got a new certification, but we still ain't seen no products. We see all that. Nicole made a face, right? But it's the truth. We see it and we're happy about the certifications, right? If that's what you think you need, but what are you going to do? The execution part. 2020, I remember like it was yesterday, one of the first participants in the masterclass. We asked, they had been in an entity where they had a coaching and speaking and training certification. And I remember, Cedric, you asked, how much money have you made? Mm-hmm. It was $0. And we were like, how is this possible? And so we saw where there was a gap. People have tools, but they don't have application. And so what we try to do, which is what Cedric just described, we teach and then we apply. We teach, apply. We try to give you the skills that you can go out and do the work. So if you're that person, and maybe you are even somebody that, hung out with us 3 or 4 years ago, and you say, you know what, I need a refresh. Because see, some of y'all go to the same certification every 6 months and they don't tell you nothing new. Y'all could get them talks from the stage as good as the original speakers could, because you done heard them so many times. So don't give me that part of the story about where I've been once, so I don't need it again. Yeah, you do. Some of you do, and you know who you are. Because if you felt that little tug when I said that, or you thought about the other events you go to, stay in the hotel and listen to the same exact talks every 6 months, there's no reason why you can't sit in this masterclass again and tune up. Your business needs to shift. Your niche needs to improve. You need a new business plan. So next masterclass will be in the spring. So you got time. But go to that link now and enroll. No more excuses. Having said that, we'll be back in 2 weeks, same time, same station. Just look for us on the Business Excellence and Impact Group page, as well as our personal pages. And I will turn it over to you, Cedric, for the final quote and or words that you'd like to impart.
Yeah, Dr. Sitsi is definitely right. She did retake sit through the class again, right? Mm-hmm. Refreshing, and we see the benefits of that from her in her business, the stuff that she's doing, right? She sees it and we see it as well. And Dr. Sitsi took over Talk Leadership with Cedric a couple of weeks ago and did the millennial edition of it, right? I've never let someone else just take the controls, but her and Tavier Young said, hey, we're going to do this and run this. So, I'm just sitting back watching now.
It goes back to the thing we mentioned earlier, right? The visibility. We know she's still in business.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So you know what I'm going to do this time, and for all of you out there in Facebook land, you're listening, right? It's not going to be a story, but I'm going to do an activity with you, right? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to raise your hand, okay? Now you have to do this. I have to trust that you're raising your hand, all right? Now what I want you to do is I want you to raise your hand higher this time, okay? Now the question I have for you is this. Why didn't you give 100% the first time? You see?
I think it was required.
You see? This is what I'm saying. So when you look, in your business, you got to be all in. You can't put 1 foot in. You can't go, I'm 50% today, I'm 70%. No, you got to be 100% all in. That's what's going to matter in your business. That's going to make a difference in your business. So if you were one of those people that didn't give 100% the first time, ask yourself, am I not giving 100% in my business? Do I not give 100% every time I do something? If you look, there's no judgment. If you are one of those people that didn't, you need to ponder on that question. And every time you do something going forward, you need to make sure you're giving that 100%. We already know what the Business Excellence and Impact Group can do for your business. We already know what the Business Connection Masterclass can do, but it's not a matter if we know it. What we want you to do is to come to the class so you will know it. See, because when you do and you apply the principles, we know that they're going to work. It's not a matter of if they're going to work. We know that they work. It's not a matter of, no, we know that they're going to work. You see, because they're tried, they're true, and they're tested, and we have the receipts. Thank you guys very much for tuning in tonight. Absolutely enjoyed having the show tonight, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. We'll thank you, and we'll see you on the other side.